Hey y'all, so I'm going to try my hardest with the speech right now. I don't have my audience, and I've been dealing with a lot of my migraines that I suffer from on a regular basis. But my speech is on uh, death row being an unethical form of punishment. So why do we have punishment? I mean, people do wrong, murder, burglarize, assault, rape. People have to be punished for that. Why do we have death row or death penalty? One might say that it's a sense of closure, but when I think of death row, it's not something that I can really agree with and get on board with. When we heal from something, it's not something that just happens, in the blink of an eye. It takes time to heal. And one can't just witness or be informed of a murderer, being executed or lethally injected and everything just goes away. That doesn't make any sense. If it were that easy, then, maybe our justice system would be a little better. But, so no matter what crime is done, the perpetrators need to learn from their mistakes. They need to suffer just as much as their victims do. Yeah, it might be easier if they were dead. Wouldn't have to worry about them coming back, getting out of prison, anything like that. But if they're not spending a life sentence, then can't really say that they're learning from their crimes, from their mistakes. So to have their lives ended can actually obstruct the healing process. Let's go and look at the Bill of Rights, the 8th Amendment. Excessive bail shall not be required, nor excessive fines imposed, nor cruel and unusual punishments inflicted. And death row is exactly what the amendment states that's not right. Cruel and unusual. All of the execution methods that we have used, lethal injection, electrocution, gas chamber, hangings, and hey, even a firing squad. They're not natural in any sense. Statistics from a website called the Death Penalty Information Center show that since 1976, we've had 1,483 executions. And so far in 2018, we've had 18. That was a real eye-opener for me. I did not realize that it was that big still. Can you say for sure that all 18 of those victims have completely healed from the death penalty? So what happens if evidence is wrong or, tampered with? Does it make it justified when the wrong person is executed for a crime that they didn't commit? I mean, look at evidence. That's grown in the way that it's been collected. Fingerprint analysis, DNA, nationalized database. The Death Penalty Information Center shows that since 1973, more than 160 people have been released from death row with evidence of their innocence. Of the people, or Lake Research Partners took a poll on alternatives to the death penalty. And of the people that were questioned, only 33 stated that they would choose the death penalty. Everyone else stated otherwise. So what other options are there besides the death penalty? Life without parole, life with parole, and you've got life without parole plus restitution. When it comes to restitution, what is it? It's the court's way of ordering the perpetrator to pay for any out-of-pocket expenses that the victims can consume. Medical expenses, therapy, prescriptions, counseling, any lost wages, insurance deductibles, lost or damaged property, crime scene cleanup, and then expenses that directly relate to the process of the criminal justice system. So like the travel costs and child care and everything that can come up into that. Yeah, it sounds like compensation for the victim suffering, but it's called restitution because they have to pay you. Another point to the death penalty, does it save money? Well, you might think because this person isn't being cared for anymore. They're not being fed or given a place to sleep or, given a job in the prison. But it's actually a lot more expensive than you think. So according to that DPIC website I've been mentioning, they have states like California that, when looking into the cost of the death penalty for there, it's been over $4 billion. Go over to Florida, it's $51 million. And then in Texas, on average, it costs $2.3 million per case. I mean, think about it. That's 3 times the amount it would take to imprison one perpetrator for 40 years in just one place. So, how does it play? Think about the death row. How does it play out? Yeah, you've got to go through the process of getting everything scheduled and set up. Who does the lethal injection? Doctors, or, more specifically, physicians. What are we asking them to do? We're asking them to take time out of their days of saving lives to go and lethally inject these perpetrators. So, when you think about the oath that these doctors or physicians are taking, we're totally making them backtrack. I mean, they're completely against, it's everything against what they take in that oath. Never do any harm or kill anybody. So, all of these consequences that I've listed in this speech, that's what I've come to think of when I'm asked or brought up about the death row. I mean, can you say that it would give you closure? And after the statistics that I've shared, can you say that you're still on for death row? Is there another way to keep the sense of humanity without completely defying the justice system? Maybe it's a time to take a look at what's an appropriate measure to take with each crime without knocking out our morality. So those are the statistics that I've found and wanted to educate you guys on the death row. Hope it works out for everybody though.